And good evening, everyone, and welcome out to Walk-Ons for another great edition of Game on CENLA. It is football season winding way down as the select schools are getting their championships, sort of, except for those that have changed and moved theirs over to the Superdome, and those that had the opportunity and didn't move theirs over to the Superdome. And, yeah, we'll throw a little of that out. And then it's getting ready for full speed ahead in basketball. That's coming up, and we're going to be able to talk to one of the coaches from Alexandria Senior High School tonight about a big 4-day tournament that they have coming up, and it's going to start off Wednesday, and there is a ton of basketball that's set up for there. I am Doug Gann alongside of LaMar Gafford. LaMar's going to keep us updated on the Manny Avoyles game that was Friday night. That was a great one. And then Will Norris is going to keep us up on all things from that west side of Louisiana. That's Vernon, Sabine, and Beauregard, as they are full-blown basketball these days. Also around 7 o'clock, I believe, we're going to get to talk to head coach of the Manny Tigers, Jess Curtis, and that's always a great interview. But getting things kicked off, LaMar, welcome aboard.
Yeah, great to be here. Great to be here after a really fun game.
Representing Manny, I see on the shirt there.
Hey, my guys, Scoop Time. They had to give me some gear, so I'm glad that they did. But once again, I mean, good win out there for the Manny Tigers out there, 40-38 victory. I mean, as I said, the original was great, but you know, the sequel was even better.
So between the two games that Manny won both of those over at Manny, I think there was a total difference of about 5 points between those in both those games, Will?
Yes, sir. That's what we talked about. The second matchup would be as good as the first, and LaMar was tweeting out, and I kept up with it from him, and it was just an unbelievable game. And it came down the wire just like the last one, but just shows how close together those teams are. But maybe that little bit of experience for Manny is what it took to pull out those two victories.
We're going to get into the Manny Avoyles game a little bit more and then look ahead to Manny's trip down to the Superdome. Third consecutive year that they've been down there, I believe, second year in a row. They're looking to pull off the state championship. We'll talk about that towards the top of the hour, that other game. But we've got some other football to look at, of course. We're going to look at the other classes and divisions. Although they don't involve teams that are in our area, we're still going to look at talk to them. And we'll start in what is, it can be you know, no more described or no less described as Balboa and Drago in that fight. It's Zachary and Ponchatoula. No losses between the two of them and some big victories along the way. So, LaMar, thoughts on Zachary and Ponchatoula?
I mean, you got a Ponchatoula team that's been there, that hasn't been there since 1951, so they're very excited about this. But this is also a Zachary team that in recent years, they've been there. They know what it is. They know how it is and all that. And good win for them. And, you know, it's going to be interesting to see because, I mean, is it going to be the team that's been here before? They know what to expect. They know what the bright lights are all about against the team that's very excited just to be down here for the first time in over 50 years. Is that going to be a little bit – the stage going to be a little bit too much for them?
And that's what we'll see. Defense is going to carry one of the teams in this. You look up and down the roster, and I don't think 50 points was given up total before they get to the playoffs between the two teams. And, of course, Ponchatoula ends their last 3 games with a shutout. Will, but your thoughts on it, too. You get a Zachary team that until their quarterfinal loss last year to the Trojans had won back-to-back state championships. And then versus a team, as LaMar pointed out, that hasn't been there in about 70 years. So where are you looking at?
I'm looking at Zachary from the standpoint of the Trojans knocked them off last year. They were looking to three-peat, so they come back this year even hungrier, want to get that ring back. But in your Ponchatoula, you got the cool story. You know, 70 years, you're down there. You're not, you know, if you don't get overwhelmed with the situation, you're not at Northwestern, you're in the Dome.
Right.
And, you know, if you handle that first 5 minutes, 6, 7 minutes of the game, I think you got a whale of a game to watch that night. And
look, this is a Zachary team that is poised. They've got one of the best quarterbacks by all accounts in there in Eli Holstein that's in the game, and so that's going to lead. The speed has always been there for Zachary. They've always been one of those teams that are able to dominate. The coaching staff is there, but this Ponchatoula team looks poised and ready to go. So before we move on to 4A, your thoughts? Give me a winner, Ponchatoula or Zachary?
I'm going to go with Zachary, but, you know, also watch out for Ponchatoula's Braden Johnson. He's ran for 1,655 yards and 22 touchdowns. He seems to be the big guy that they have to go to. Also, their good wide receiver, Darmel Osby, 806 yards, 9 touchdowns. So those are 2 good playmakers right there. I think Zachary wins because of their experience, though.
I'll go with Ponchatoula and put you in the middle just because I like the story. I like the story. I like how it's setting up. And those kids, they're going in there, and you got to hope and pray that they're going in there wanting to win and not, hoping to win. And that's a big difference. Zachary's already been there, but if Ponchatoula can keep it close to that first quarter, I think then we're in for a great ball game.
Zachary's got the speed. They've got the finesse. They've got the storied tradition. But I think there's a chink in their armor there. You saw what West Monroe was doing to them in the first half. It built up a 21-0 lead in that one. Same type of offense and style and defense that Ponchatoula brings into this game. I think Ponchatoula watches that tape over and over and over, and I think they come out and they establish their will in this one. They don't give up the big plays. It doesn't come down to officiating in that one where a coach has to call in and complain about it. And Ponchatoula wins and lifts the title down in the Superdome in the 5A division. That's me. So we'll see about that. Moving on to 4A, and this is interesting because I want to let you guys know a little bit about this state championship game that's coming up. And let me get this pulled up on the bracket because I dare say I don't want to say anything that is not correct. But I am letting both of you know that there is room on the Warren Easton bandwagon because y'all's team both, well, they're not playing in the game. So there's no opportunity for them to win because they're not suiting up and playing in that one. And that's Edna Carr.
Yes, sir. They're done.
So was it a shock to you that Edna Carr lost that one?
It was a pretty good shock to me. I mean, I know how good Westgate is. Don't get me wrong. They're no slouch. But I thought that Carr, for being there for 7 straight years, I thought that was going to be one of the things that's going to help them out. And unfortunately, they lost that game to a very good Westgate team. But, I guess the streak was just meant to end.
A Westgate team that just a week earlier survived Northwood of Shreveport by 2 points. So I can understand that you would have thought Edna Carr would have rolled through that one. But and I don't have it on tape, so I don't want to go back to it. But both of you guys had Edna Carr as a state champion too, didn't you?
Yep. Yes.
They can't win it if they don't play it.
They got to get there to get it.
So my pick way back before all of this started was Warren Easton, correct?
Correct.
So you guys are welcome to get on there. I'm going to give you the opportunity. I'm going to go first. I'm staying with Warren Easton in this one. I told you that's what I thought before all of this started. LaMar, here's your chance. Westgate, Warren Easton.
Hey, I'm going with Warren Easton, too. This is pretty much a home game for them. So I think I got to go with the
Come on board.
there.
The bandwagon's wide open. Will, what do you have?
I'm jumping in the back of the truck.
That's what I'm talking about.
We're not crazy. We may be dumb, but we're not crazy. We're jumping in the back of the truck. But a little side note on Westgate. They beat Leesville 16-7. The Wampus Cats had the ball late in the game, had a costly fumble at the end. And I think, on any given night, the Cats were capable of beating Westgate. And now that team ends up in the finals just to show the competition of how good it was in 4A. That late fumble.
Right. Yes.
And watch out for 2 guys on that team, Zion Madison and also Derek Williams. Both guys here, they got a very young team. But a lot of people thought that this would be Westgate's year, looking at their district, that hard district that they're in with STM and Turlings and all them. A lot of people thought that this team was destined for success, and they're here right now.
And they beat Turlings.
Right.
Okay, their only loss in district play was to St. Aug. They beat St. Thomas More, opened up the season against Lafayette Christian, who, oh, by the way, got upset in their game, I believe, but take nothing away from Lake Charles Prep. St. Charles that beat them. But Lafayette Christian, you thought were poised to do it, and that was a 19-7 contest. So Westgate is going to be capable of pulling this off. I just think that Warren Easton, the atmosphere that's going to be down there is going to be just a little bit too much, and that will move us guys over to Class 3A, and that is the Sterlington team. They beat Church Point 38-0. You guys have been on Sterlington the entire way. Here comes Union Parish sneaking right back into it. Oh, by the way, the only team to beat Manny this year is that Union Parish team, and they're strong on big running backs. They beat a St. Martinville team that had really put up a lot of points all throughout the year, held them just to 26.
Allow me to puff my chest out for
Please do.
Because I said that this was going to be the final in Class 3A between Sterlington and Union Parish. And looky here. This is what we have right now. Union Parish, of course, they got one of the best running backs in the state in Trey Holly. This is a guy who scored a touchdown in almost every single game this season. But Sterlington, I mean, you got a good coach in Lee Doty. You have a lot of great athletes in there. And by the way, these two teams placed against each other this season with Sterlington winning. So I think Sterlington's going to get this one here.
So you're going back. You think you picked the final two: Sterlington, Union Parish. Union Parish had a big run at it last year, unable to finish things off. Here they are back again. The bridesmaid, not the bride. Is this the year that Union Parish is able to finish on top?
I don't think so. Me and Lamar's rode to Sterlington train all the way, and I don't think nothing changes here. The game earlier this year, Sterlington won as well. And then, I mean, you can tip your hat if you're Union Parish. You beat Manny first game of the season, and, I mean, that's something that got them kind of rolling. They lost a couple games in the middle, and since then they got hot and put up a lot of points.
The biggest thing that I think that I see is that the defense out of Sterlington might be just a little bit better in this one. And so this may very well be our only unanimous selection. We're all going to go with Sterlington to do this one, but don't discount the work that Union Parish has done coming out of the 7 seed, if you will. They beat the Mansville team to start, and then they blanked Gina in round 2, a very talented Gina ball club. Knock off Abbeville, who was the 2 seed, and a lot of people thought Abbeville was going to be playing for the state title this year. They only give up 6 points, 45-6. In that one, and then they put up another 45 points against St. Martinville that I thought was going to make it up there and play Sterlington. I like those teams out of the 3 seed, but it's Sterlington, Union Parish, and we all believe that Sterlington does it.
And I give you another good running back for Sterlington right now, Tramel Colvin. He might be the second best running back on the field that day, but he's probably going to want to try to show himself out there that I could be just as good as Trey Holly as well.
There you have that. Jumping over to A, because that's one that involves Central Louisiana, and we'll talk about that a little bit after the break. But Logansport and Homer, the only chalk that has rolled on to this, the 1 seed versus the 2. Logansport handles Oak Grove 22-14 in that one, but Homer was all over Haynesville. We talked about that game, 40-0 in just one of those historic matches that was at Homer. They were the home team in that one. Homer not giving up a lot of points there. Northwood Lena, they give up 6 to them in round 1. Homer just 6 points to White Castle in the second round. No points to Haynesville. Do they have a shot against Logansport as the 2 seed, Homer and Logansport?
I think so. I mean, if there's one guy that you want to look at for is Takey Avante Kidd.
Right.
Try saying that just 10 times fast. But I think he's definitely the guy that they have there that's really good. I know Logansport has themselves a great quarterback as well. I forgot this name right now, but it'll come back to me. But he might be the case here to help them out here. But I just think that Logansport, I mean, seeing what they have, this team has been rolling since their 0-4 start. I mean, I think they're the better team here.
There you go. Homer, Logansport, who do you have?
I'm still rolling with the Tigers of Logansport. We thought last week that, there might be a test. They pulled the big win off against Oak Grove, your defending champs, and now they're on the way. And like Lamar said, since the 0-4 start, picked up the win against Rose Pine, they've never looked back. That may be in the swing in their season was to pick up that win against an undefeated Rose Pine team, and they've kept the momentum rolling and not really had a whole lot of close games since.
You're right. Looking over at Homer to give you my thoughts on it, too. Their loss, Union Parish, was one of them. Calvary Baptist, which rolled up. North Caddo was a loss on there, a big playoff team. And I feel Homer is playing the right brand of football right now. I think Homer at the 2 seed comes up and they lift the title in 1A. So we're only going to be allowed to be in agreements on one game tonight, and that was the prior Sterlington pick. So I had to go against you guys on this one. But Lamar has something else. I know he does.
That guy's name, Cameron Boykins.
Okay. Boykins, I can't remember it either. Yeah. That's all I had on my mind trying to figure it out. But Homer's defense, I mean, it's going to be a defense versus offense, and we'll see what happens.
Indeed it is. Going down to the select schools in the divisions. Division 1, that game was already played on there. Catholic, Baton Rouge, and Jesuit. Catholic came out of that one, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, and we talked about it the first of the season. Was Catholic going to have that chip on their shoulder? Were they going to be able to come back and win that one? And, in fact, they do finish things off. So I won't even bother getting your picks on that game because – Well,
Catholics don't. Nah, McKinney. They won 14-10 in that one though, and so they get the title that they
had taken away
from them last year. So Good sign for that. So, congrats to the Bears on that.
So a couple of the teams now that were the select schools are getting the opportunity to play in the Superdome. One of those that passed on that chance, and they're going to stay at UL, that's E.D. White University Lab. Will, what do you think of there?
I think it's crazy that you're going to drive from New Orleans to Baton Rouge and you're going to drive to play in ULL when you had the opportunity and the offer to play in the Superdome. And I mean, that's, to me, is mind-boggling. And you would have been on Thursday night, so you would have been the primetime only game on Thursday night. So, to me, that's just, I don't know. That's just, to me, just to make any sense. And then, as far as the game goes, we watched Edie after, I think, a early loss or something, and then they started putting it together. So I really haven't seen a whole lot on either one of these teams this year.
LaMar?
Yeah, I hadn't seen anything on either one of those teams this year either. But I know one of the guys down there, Chris Singleton. This is E.D. White's first appearance in the championship game since 1981 when they were in Class 2A. So it's been a long time for those guys down there. But they're facing against a ULab team that has at least some history about being there recently. I think U-High wins this one.
In the regular season, 4 shutouts and a couple of times that they've held opponents to just 6 points has this U-High team. They've played teams like Central out of Baton Rouge, Woodlawn of Baton Rouge, and beat them. Dunham, a big playoff team. We saw what they did in the Menard game earlier in the first round of the playoffs there, but they beat Dunham 35-0, beat a good Glen Oaks team on their Madison Prep.
Yeah, late game, they won that late.
They knocked Madison Prep off as well, and so I think that strength of schedule. Now, and I know the way you look at it, but it's common. It's opponents' wins and losses that factor into that too. But I think the body of work, the U-High wins that game.
I will say this too: it would be very exciting if E.D. White gets a chance to win this one. Obviously, with the Bayou region being wrecked by the hurricane earlier this year, so our thoughts and prayers continue to be with those guys over there. It would be cool if they get the chance to win that one.
Yeah.
But for them just to get here, I think that's something to really think about there.
Indeed, there's some great stories there. We're going to move down and look at Division III. And, Will, I think these are teams that did take up the offer. No, that's Lafayette Christian and St. Charles. And St. Charles pulls off what many thought was an upset in that one to win that game, of course, out of the 3 seed and knock off Lafayette Christian.
Yeah, I think earlier in the year, me and LaMar were talking about we didn't think that Lafayette Christian would be tested to maybe the semifinals or finals, and then, we saw what happened once they got there.
Right, they end up beating Newman in the semis, but goodness, to lose that was one of those teams that if you look back and you go back to the score, the picks that we had at the start of the season, then the start of the playoffs, you'd have thought Lafayette Christian was going to roll through there, and that will move us then down into Division IV, and these guys are the ones that really started the push to get their game played into the Superdome, and that was OCS and Southern Lab, and you guys have been on OCS throughout the bulk of the year. They get past Calvary Baptist just by 3. Southern Lab rolling. LaMar, what do you think?
Yeah, I thought that Washita Christian Calvary game was going to be pretty much a de facto championship game because of the talent those two teams have. So the only shift I have about my champion is going to be OCS winning this one. I think Southern Lab's a good team, but I think OCS, they definitely have a lot of talent here. And also they're going to be excited just to play down there at the Dome as well. So I think it's cool that they get the chance to do that, and I think it's cool that Southern Lab went ahead and just said, yeah, we'll go ahead and we want to also play in the Dome too. That's
good stuff. You don't see many teams that say, no, we don't want to, except for those that went to Lafayette to play. Your thoughts on that, Washita Christian?
Well, I'm just glad for the kids at OCS that they get to play in the Dome. It's an early start, but regardless if it's 2 in the morning or 2 in the afternoon, you're getting to play in the Dome. And we've been on them all year. And I actually, me and him talked outside the other night, and we thought that was a championship game with Calvary. So, I'm still hanging my hat on that, but Southern Lab's not going to go in there and lay down for them. But I think OCS, talent-wise, is the best team in that division.
I thought that we were going to only have one bracket that we agreed on, but I'm going to go with OCS as well. I just think that their defense, I think that they're been there, done that mentality, the move to get it into the Superdome, all of this swelling up. I think Washita Christian knows how to go in there and get it done. Southern Lab's going to put up a great effort. Their defense is very solid. But, again, outlasting Calvary Baptist, I agree that the winner of that semifinal game would have been the winner here. and I'm going Ouachita Christian as well. So there you have our winners. The only one that we're missing out on is Class 2A, and we'll do that when we come back after talking with Coach Jess Curtis. That's coming up at 7 o'clock. What we're going to do is take a break right now, take a quick 2-minute break. When we do, we're going to get one of the coaches over at Alexandria Senior High School. They've got that big Trojan Invitational Tournament that's coming up on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and we're going to hear from Chris Bailey. We'll do that right after this. You're listening to Game on CENLA, live from Walk-Ons on 446 Sports.
It all started with a sketch on a napkin. An idea created by two walk-on bench warmers. And after 10 years of hard work and perseverance to turn their dream into a reality, it's the #1 sports bar in America.
Welcome to Walk On.
Walk-ons, because everyone needs a little playing time.
The fine folks at BK Distributors want to thank all the educators for weathering the storms, so to speak, through 2020 and beyond. Thank you for your dedication to our children. The end of the school year awards are now available. Any type of award, trophies, banners, plaques, they do it all at BK Distributors. So with school almost out, that means summer leagues are in full swing. New items, same great prices, and fast turnaround. BK Distributors, Highway 20 in East Pineville behind Arby's.
From the second you step in our front door, we work with each client individually, taking the time to understand their unique lifestyles and their wishes and their needs. When we search through properties for you, it's more than just a number of bedrooms or a zip code. It's about your life, and that's what's important to us. We work with you until we find that home of your dreams. When we do find that perfect home, we walk you through the process from the first step of making the offer all the way through until closing day, and we hand over those keys. Let the Trish LaMar Group go to work for you, and let us help you find that dream home.
I am Doug Gann alongside of LaMar Gafford, and being joined now by assistant coach for the Ash basketball Trojans and Chris Bailey. Coach, welcome.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for having me out here.
Great.
Especially with the media titans of Central Louisiana, all right?
Are they waiting outside, or where are they? I think we're getting it by default as everybody's getting out of here.
Yeah,
LaMar.
I know.
That might be it. Wow, but thank you for that. Guys. Look, you guys got a lot going on over there, Coach Brasher and you, and you're adding on. Coach, I think y'all have more assistant coaches than football does. Is what I'm seeing. Y'all are amassing quite a squad over there.
Oh, yeah, we try. We all do a good job. We all work hard. The expectations for our program are so high, especially after Coach Brasher. We were able to win the 5A title 2 years ago. There's so much more work to be done, so much more growth to get from our kids out of there. So, we have to keep adding a couple people, and, we all just put our head down and go to work every day.
Look, speaking of going to work, you have a big tournament coming up this week. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, Rapides Regional Invitational. We really appreciate the folks over at Rapides for sponsoring us this year. Really kind of help us get going. 3 different locations. Of course, Alexandria Senior High, Tioga High School, and then Pineville High School as well. Got over 30 teams in there, close to 40, boys and girls from all over the area. So not just CENLA, but we got some teams from up north, some teams from down south, St. Martinville. The Zachary girls are coming up. We got Captain Shreve boys, Bossier boys. Monroe's coming down for Carroll, so St. Martinville as well from down south. So it's going to be a lot of good matchups, a lot of good games. If you don't have nothing to do this week, Wednesday through Saturday, come on out and, check out some good basketball. Got a lot of good matchups, a lot of good games, a lot of good teams.
Right, LaMar?
I kind of want to talk about your team's slate so far because, you got Carroll on Wednesday, Oakdale on Thursday. You have Shreve on Friday, and also ending it out with Bossier. So 4 really good games here to help prepare you guys for the season coming ahead.
Yeah, 4 really good ones, 4 really tough ones. We kind of spread out our schedule at the beginning. You never know what football's going to do. Last year they made a run to the state championship. Unfortunately, didn't go their way this year. We didn't want to we want to anticipate them being gone for a long time.
The term here, let me interrupt you, is getting our football guys back is what is how you guys schedule to start that off. You have to prepare for that.
Yeah, you do. So we kind of spread it out. We've only played 3 games so far. You know, kind of our guys, let them get a chance to get back in shape, you know, just from as much running as we do. You know, so now we got 4 tough games, and, you know, we've only played 3 up to this point, you know, one every week. So now we got 4, and they're 4 really good teams. You know, Carroll's a really tough team. They play real hard. Oakdale's going to win a lot of games this year. They're a really good team. I mean, Captain Shreve was 1 shot away from being in the top 28 last year. They're a really, really talented team, really well coached. And Bossier, I mean, they're a team you hear year in and year out, contending for state championships.
The gyms around the area, you're able to pick up and do that. How important is it to this area to be able to combine facilities to put this type of an event on? Oh,
it's key. It's key. I mean, you know, it helps us bring in more people, too, more exposure, and just give other people a chance to see what Central Louisiana has to offer. So, you know, being able to use the facilities over at Tioga and Pineville High really helps us just keep hosting a first-class event year in and year out.
What's the big matchup that's not at Alexandria Senior High that you're looking forward to? If somebody says, hey, we want to go to one of these other gyms, what's the key matchup?
Pineville Northwood's probably going to be a pretty good game. Honestly, I saw Pineville knocked off of Avoyelles Charter the other night in overtime. And then Northwood, Coach Twig, he does a great job. You know, he took Menard to the top 28 last year. You know, and that
Northwood, he's got those Gators rolling along again.
That's
this
a really talented team over there at Northwood. So I mean, that's going to be kind of a pretty big one over at Pineville High School. Tioga has Buckeye. Buckeye's pretty good too. They actually played Northwood pretty close last week. You know, over at Northwood, I believe it was. So them and Tioga should be pretty good over at Tioga High School as well.
LaMar, if you had to pick one out of that group that's a must see.
I love the Wednesday game at Tioga between Avoyelles Charter and Northwood. I love that game, actually. The Lady Gators, they lost their first game against a very good Lakeview squad, but you also got Avoyelles Charter with Peyton Hines, one of the best seniors that we have around here. I think that's going to be a very solid game, honestly, too.
So just a lot of great activity, and this isn't something that you guys have just thrown together. It's been a building process. I remember, I guess, last year for sure, you guys have been working on this for a while.
Yeah, we have. Really kind of, even before the year ends, the previous year, we're just kind of still trying to get it rolling, you know, just because we have so many teams branched out from all over the state. You know, and, you know, sometimes we try to hook up hotel rooms for when people are coming from so far away. Just get different things, you know, because we just like to play games. You know, it doesn't matter who it is, where we're at. You know, any time, any day, doesn't matter. You know, we're ready to play. We want some of the best people to come in and play. And so we kind of start rolling on this thing pretty early.
Absolutely. And look, the cities are able to get involved in this too, because anytime you're putting folks into the hotel rooms and staying overnight, that just stimulates the economy around here, and we certainly need that. You know, this year they resurrected the Rapides Parish Tournament for the girls on there. Big turnout there for the parish as well. And you're seeing more and more of things in the past few years that you've not seen in this area on there. So basketball in Central Louisiana seems to be moving to the forefront. I know there's a lot of great down south, certainly there up north, but for so long it was dormant in Central Louisiana. But there seems to be a big resurgence of that.
Yeah, it does. You see a lot of teams making deeper runs in the playoffs. You know, 2 years ago we were fortunate enough to win it at Alexandria. Peabody won it the same year, so you had the 2 highest classifications. Having the state champs come out of this city, so that was really a great thing. But you see a lot of other teams just putting out good products night in and night out. Natchitoches Central always does a really good job. They were in the top 28 last year. You know, so there's a lot of good basketball here. Like you said, there's a big resurgence of it coming up now, and you know, so we like to try to put it on display as best as we can. With this tournament, and we also host another tournament. People call us a little crazy. It's on New Year's Day too, so you know.
A lot of us do. A lot of us call it that.
You know, it is what it is. It's a big family thing for us. It's just kind of how we live our life. You know, I have a little girl. Coach Brasher has a bunch of kids. Coach Winslow has kids of his own too. So it's just kind of just something that we all love, and we, you know, our families are always up there. There's kids running around the gym all the time for us. You know, our assistant coach, Coach Dan, has a couple kids himself too. So it's, you know, it's just something that we like to do. So the holidays, what are y'all doing? Playing basketball. You know, we're getting our kids ready to work. You know, and our families are up there. It's just something that we really like doing. We put a lot of time in it. It's a good investment. But it's a good investment for the young kids of this area.
Right.
And it really gets them exposed through the state too.
And you know, those guys really work hard, because I pulled up there, I think on Thursday,
Yeah.
just to kind of see how they were doing everything, and they were all they made some time for me, but they were all like working together and all that different types of stuff. Talking about basketball is always fun there.
Well, absolutely it is. Sitting in with Coach Chris Bailey over at Ash about the big tournament coming up. Again, you've got games at Ash, you've got them at Pineville, and you've got Tioga.
Yes.
I think they start off at 3:30, and you guys have about 4 games a night until Saturday. When does it kick off on Saturday?
Saturday kicks off, I believe, 2 o'clock game's the first one, and then it ends up at 6:30, where the last one's 6:30 when we play Bossier.
And look, when you come into town, if you're one of the teams that are watching this on there and you see you come into town, Winterfest is that weekend, is this weekend as well. There's things going on Thursday, Friday, Saturday for Winterfest. The ice skating rink is down there. The city's going to be full of people this coming weekend. The big Alexandria Christmas Parade is Sunday. The Pineville Christmas Parade is Friday night. And then just a host of events. There's live music on the stages on Friday and Saturday. There's a lot to do in Central Louisiana this weekend, and we're so grateful that you guys are a part of it.
Yes, we just don't want people, it's a great time of year to be out, have something fun to do as a family. So we have all these events. We have our games at 3 different gyms. So there's no reason to be sitting on the couch. You come out, go to one of these Christmas events, come see a good quality basketball game. And just have some good family time outside of the couch.
Guy sounds like he's been on TV before.
I know,
he knows
right?
how to do this.
Once or twice, man.
This is just good stuff. All right, we appreciate you sitting in with us. Going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk to head coach of the Manny Tigers, Jess Curtis. Going to take a 1-minute break. We'll be right back. You're listening to Game on CENLA, live from Walk-Ons.
The following things are just plain wrong. Pouring coffee into a light socket. Dressing a 300-pound man in a tiny pink Speedo. And hiring an unqualified employee for your business.
Express Employment Professionals in Alexandria is here to assist you in hiring that right employee or helping you find your perfect career. Apply online at expresspros.com/AlexandriaLA.
In Central Louisiana, you might see me at the ballparks or soccer fields, or we might cross paths at the grocery store. I'm your local Farm Bureau insurance agent, your local expert when it comes to protecting what you love and depend on. I'm Jason Hawk. Learn more about how Farm Bureau insurance can save you time and money. So talk to Hawk at 318-791-HAWK and let me help you protect your biggest investments. Real service, real people. Farm Bureau Insurance.
Joining us is head coach Jess Curtis. Coach, are you able to hear us now? We know through the break that you weren't.
It's kind of real low.
It's kind of low, Chuck. Let's see if we can bring this up just a tad, if that'll help out.
Any better, Coach?
A little bit better. Just a little bit more if you could.
Yep, hang on. We're going to get you there real quick. I've just been informed not to touch the camera again this week because that led to the chaos from last week.
Yeah, just in case if you do touch the camera, we got the wooden spoon for you.
Look, I know, no, I'm not doing it. Coach, how about that? Is that a little bit better?
I can barely hear you. Maybe if I read your lips.
We're going to pull these. We're going to pull our levels up just a little bit, Coach, and try to do that. But LaMar, go ahead if you.
Yeah, Coach. I mean, another good game out there for you guys tonight. 40-38 victory against the Bulls. Just walk us through about that game and everything.
The Bulls game, unbelievable game. 40-38, 2 teams. It's basically a good old Donnybrook. Somebody texted me on Saturday and said like watching Rocky IV, Drago and Rocky go at it. So, it was a slugfest. We played them, their district rival. Andy Boone did a great job. The team was well prepared. We had to do some adjustments to try to stop and slow them down. I was just proud of my guys, the fight they had, and the plays they made in that fourth quarter. And that's kind of what this team is. Anytime we've been tested late, they've always answered the call. And you watched film with the boys today, and that's what I told them. We're here because of their fight, belief in each other, and it was a classic. It was one of the best games I've ever been involved in.
Hey, Coach, I'd be remiss if I did not talk about London Williams. I mean, I know you gave your spiel about him and talking about all the recruiters trying to come out there and get him, but 5 touchdowns, amazing performance out there. I remember the last game. I think the last semifinal game he had 6. So, the kid really steps out at big times.
Yeah, I think you're talking about London. London Williams with 5 touchdowns. London had a great game. He's a senior. He's got a lot to prove. He's finally healthy. Just real happy with how he answered the call Friday night. Defensively, had a lot of players step up with some big stops. This team is so much more than just 1 or 2 or 3 stars. It's a collection of really good football players, and that was my point to him too. Besides London, Tackett, and Tylen, we got a lot of kids that have helped us get here. And I'm excited that we get to do that. We get to showcase them, under the lights in the Superdome.
Coach, what does it mean to your kids, you think, this year getting to go to the Dome over Northwestern? And I know Northwestern's 20 minutes down the road, but just experience for these Tigers to get back in the Dome.
Yeah, we enjoyed Northwestern last year. It's home. It was basically in our backyard, so we took advantage of that. We getting to go to New Orleans, that never gets old. And, the kids – my favorite part is when we get to go to practice and let them walk inside that building, and because it's kind of the mantra for every high school team. You start in the summer saying, hey, we're going to go to the Dome. So-and-so is going to the Dome. This is our mantra, our belief, our goal. And for us to be able to achieve that, I can't wait to get on that charter bus and let those guys walk through those doors and kind of take it all in. But, yes, we love going down there, excited about it. I think we have one of the best things, our state, playing our games in the Superdome. I can't wait to play our game and watch the other great teams play there.
But, Coach, you watched film today. Tell us a little bit about a meet. We've seen a few things over the course of the year, but we don't know near as much as you do.
Yeah, a meet's a great team. We're up here right now. I just took a step. We're up here. We've been up here all day, just trying to make sure we got our game plan in. It's important to get your work in early in the week, and so we're still putting that game plan together. But a meet, luckily we played them last year down there at their place in a thriller quarterfinal game. We won 34-30. They're well coached. They're no stranger to the Dome. I think their senior class were freshmen when they won it. So you got a tradition team. A team's used to being there. They're not going to be awed by the experience. We got a team that's very balanced on offense and a team that's very good, big, and physical on defense. So it really shapes up to be a great matchup. I think most of everybody else out there has picked us in a meet to play for the championship all year. It kind of set up that way. The bracket kind of held up that way, and looking forward to a great matchup between 2 great programs.
Coach, I want to talk about one of your assistants real quick, too, and Jim Davis. I mean, I know that he had his bout with cancer this year and beat his bout with cancer. How important is he to this team and also this coaching staff?
To kind of repeat that, LaMar is the one having a hard time hearing.
Coach, LaMar was asking you about Coach Jim Davis battling cancer and overcoming cancer. What does he mean to you and the boys, as a member of your staff?
Yeah, man, Coach Davis, he's my first hire when I came here, and just a tremendously loyal guy, and just proud of him and what he had to go through in the off season to battle cancer and to win, and he's a great example of what our coaching staff is. Like I said, they're up here, been up here all day. We won the other night because of one of the big reasons was my coaching staff. They worked so hard, never got flustered. They're the ones that calmed me down. Just a great group of men. And, that's kind of – I'm glad you went that way with that question. Jim Davis, number one, is we're proud of him and his fight with cancer and winning that and support we had from the school with that. But my staff is a wonderful group of guys, and it's one of our secrets to why we're here.
Coach, one question for you, too, is that the motivation doesn't even have to be an option at this level because your guys are there and motivated and ready to go. But a team like you were there last year and you hoisted the trophy. Is there a chance at saying, okay, well, there's a sense of complacency versus a team like Amit that's coming in wanting to knock off the champion?
Well, I've been proud of our guys this year and how they've handled that. I'm telling you, it's tough. Trying to repeat with something is very tough. I'm telling you, it's probably the hardest thing I've done the 2 times we've had to do it. But I've been proud of this team. And you watch the pros and you watch college, it's tough to win a bunch of games. And sometimes complacency does step in. Sometimes you have to kind of whack it away. But, going in for a state championship, knowing we're playing a meet, I mean, this is one of those weeks I don't worry about any of that.
Right.
These kids, they've got that look in their eye. They know what's at stake, an opportunity to win it 2 times in a row. You only get a chance. Who knows? This may be the last chance this group of guys has to go in that building. So you don't ever take anything for granted. You're playing one of the best teams in the state. The 2 best teams are in it. And, I don't look for any problems having to get them ready. Now, I'm going to try to tell you, I love motivating kids. That's one of the things I like to do. But, that's just a little extra sauce this week. There shouldn't have to be any motivation whatsoever. A great matchup between 2 great programs. I mean, you can't ask for more, man.
Well, Coach, it's been a pleasure for you joining us throughout this playoff run and throughout the season on the show. We're so grateful that you've opened up the program to our Sunday night show and just absolutely wish you the best. And we look forward to another Manny Tiger State Championship.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you guys having me on, and it's great what you guys are doing. Anytime you're promoting kids and this wonderful sport of football, I'm with it. So I appreciate you guys inviting me on. Thank you, man.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Coach.
Coach.
All right.
There you have it. Always a class act in head coach Jess Curtis from Manny, and we're certainly grateful to have him on board and on the show each and every week. And there is no, the troubling thing, if it was going to be Manny and a Voiles in that, or Manny and a Rose Pine in the championship, is our allegiance and our loyalty. Mm-hmm. Now, that has nothing to do with what our picks that are going to be coming up after the break, mind you. This is that where it's a cliffhanger, you see. I learned that I watched a YouTube video on hosting a show. And so, but the good thing is, last week we're toying between, if a Vols wins a game, we're happy, we're okay with that. If Manny wins a game, we're okay with that. But getting things back together now, it's Manny, and this program throws its full support behind the Tigers of Manny. After the break, we're going to take a break. We'll come back, and I know there's not much drama with these two of who they're going to pick on it, or me probably either, but I don't know. We're going to take a quick 1-minute break. When we come back, we're going to do that, and then we're going to jump into basketball. We're going to tip things off with full-depth coverage of basketball. I know, Will, you've got a lot of tournaments that are coming up this week as well.
Yes, sir.
The Ash tournament is coming up. LaMar is in full speed basketball mode. But before we get into basketball, we're going to have our Manny Amit pick, and it's going to come up after this 1-minute timeout. You're listening to Game on CENLA right here on 446 Sports.
It all started with a sketch on a napkin, an idea created by 2 walk-on bench warmers. And after 10 years of hard work and perseverance to turn their dream into a reality, it's the #1 sports bar in America.
Welcome to Walk On.
Walk-ons, because everyone needs a little playing time.
The fine folks at BK Distributors want to thank all the educators for weathering the storms, so to speak, through 2020 and beyond. Thank you for your dedication to our children. The end of the school year awards are now available. Any type of award, trophies, banners, plaques, they do it all at BK Distributors. So with school almost out, that means summer leagues are in full swing. New items, same great prices, and fast turnaround. BK Distributors, Highway 20 in East Pineville behind Arby's.
And we are back. It is time. The cliffhanger minute was over with. Always, we appreciate Coach Jess Curtis spending time with us. That Manny-made mentality that is down there is true. It's genuine, and it is a powerhouse on there. Survived a couple of trips with a Voiles in there, really short of their loss early in the season to Union Parish that seemed to fire them up just a little bit as well. Manny has been pretty dominant. They've had a close call against Red River. They had a close call against Bunkie until halftime when it was 28-28, and they roll on from there. Amit, they dropped to the 6th seed because they had a couple of forfeits that were in there. They should have been a 2 seed or a 1 seed. Those things could have been back-to-back. This Amit Ball Club we've talked about all year. Coach Jess talked about it, said that, look, all of the experts – and y'all, he was talking. He says experts and then us. I don't know. I kid. Have Manny and Amit in there. LaMar, true to form. What do you think in it?
I mean, once again, this Amit team is a very good team. They have a lot of great athletes. Some of the guys that scored touchdowns against Jonesboro Hodge, Javion Andres, Devontae Mozzie. You also have another one by just a lot of great guys. Jalen Robinson, he had a 79-yard touchdown in that game too. So they have a lot of great athletes. This is a team that should not have been a 6 seed.
Right.
They had to forfeit their first 2 games of the season, and honestly, they probably could have been a 1 seed or they could have been a 2 seed, depending on how everything would have shook out right there. But they put that behind them. They got to this point. A lot of people thought that they were going to make it to this point. They're here now. And these two teams played against each other in the quarterfinals last year.
Right.
And Amit really gave Manny a scare until Manny won that game. So, this is a worthy opponent here. This is a worthy opponent.
Indeed it is. So your pick, though?
My pick is going to be the Manny Tigers. I just think, again, they're focused. They're ready. They're ready to go at it. I expect another big game for London Williams. He had a big game in this semifinal. I think he's going to have another big game here, and I think Tackett Curtis is also going to have a pretty solid game too.
There you go.
I got the Manny Tigers all the way. We've had them all year. I just think that they are the defending state champs. I think they're going to go down there and handle their business and win. But like me and LaMar were talking the other day, Amit's definitely 1 or 2. Manny was 1 or 2. So the right 2 teams are there regardless of seed. And, we'll see what happens. 2 of the last 3 state championships have went to each of these schools. And this will be the second in the last 4 years for one of these people. And then the Manny goes back-to-back. Just remember, about 6 shows ago, we had Jess on, and he didn't want to dare mention it. But I'm telling you right now, babe, with London leaving, yeah, that's 50 touchdowns and probably a couple thousand yards. But with Jeremiah and then the other Williams kid coming, Manny gets by Amit, then we can go ahead and I'll make my pick for next year because I'm saying 3-peat.
Wow.
They're going to be that good next year. They're going to be possibly better next year than this year. So if you're going to beat them, Amit better get them this Friday.
So your pick, LaMar, is Manny.
Yes.
Your pick, Will, is Manny
All
without
day
a
long,
doubt.
Manny.
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt.
Huh. And I told you we weren't going to agree on more than
Can we do it again?
On more than a couple of these. I don't like the forfeit idea of it. I understand what happened there, but they had beaten Jill Sumner. They had beaten Patterson. Those were the 2 teams that they had victories against that they give the forfeits to. A couple of their games got canceled. I watched this Ash team last year go through because they were rested. So a couple of games didn't get played for the Salmon and Laranger. So in there, they play a very good Lakeshore team, and they win that one. Only give up 7 points over the last 3 weeks of the regular season. Amit, we've said all along, was poised to not only get to the championship, but win a state championship. So I'm saying that the physicality of Manny prevails in this one. Manny, it's going to be a battle up until halftime, but the hard-hitting Tackett Curtis and that group, Amit is not going to – there's a fire that comes straight from head coach Jess Curtis. The physicality of it, when you play an Andy Boone coach team twice and come out at the end, this Manny Tiger team knows how to win the close games. They know what they have to do to put it together, and they're riding high. They won't mention the 3-peat on there, but I'm in agreement with you as well. They hoist not only their second one, but they need to make room in the trophy case for their third one coming up next year. But here a week from now, they take care of business. So we are in unison on that in the Manny Tigers. And that's not just because they're on the show and Coach Curtis is here. Oftentimes, I just think the physical nature, the hard hitting, the speed. London Williams is not going to be denied going out of there. If he goes for another 5 touchdowns, it seems like every week you guys are saying he had 5 touchdowns. He had 5 touchdowns.
We were surprised the week he had 4. And both of us were looking at each other when he only had 4. And, it's just one of those things where this kid is just a dominant force.
Yeah.
And then he can go 3 yards to the house or 93 yards. It does not matter. When it hits his hands, he can go with it. But the O-line for Manny, I watched him in the Rosebine game. Those kids block. They get off their first block. They're continuing to block. And then the wide receivers all block really good that night. So, when you got everybody on your team willing to block, when London goes to, score a touchdown, first thing he does coming up the sidelines, I watched him about 4 times. He's high-fiving his O-line, his wide receivers. That kid knows who's opening them holes for him, and those kids are loving opening them holes.
And, look, you talk to Jess Curtis as much as we have, too. It's not just London that's carrying the football. There are multiple running backs that are back there that it'll come into. And so when you get down towards the end of the game and you're tired and you're getting wore out, well, London, he's not carried the ball 30 times. He's not been the workhorse because he's not had to be. Yes, he's got 5 touchdowns, but it doesn't come as a result of carrying the ball 35 to 40 times. He just makes big football plays.
Absolutely. Over 2,500 yards and 46 touchdowns. That's a dominant season. But like you said, you got a lot of other guys out there, Trent Williams and also Jeremiah James. The cupboard is not going to be bare when he leaves. Just to say the least here.
Nursery rhyme reference there from my man, LaMar. So we all 3 have the Manny Tigers in this one. That game is that the, let's see, that's in the Superdome at 3:30 on the 10th. So that's going to be Friday. at 3:30. That's a marquee matchup. You'll want to make sure that you find a way to get down to the Superdome and watch that game because it's going to be a battle.
Can I take some time out just to acknowledge the Bulls right now?
Absolutely.
Because this is a great season they've had. Their best season, their first semifinal appearance, first 10-win season, first 11-win season for them. And for them to go down to their 3rd, 4th, and 5th string running back just to make it this far and also give Manny a scare.
Right.
I think that says a lot here.
Not once, but twice.
Not once, but twice. And also, I think one of the coaches sent me their stats, I think yesterday morning. And he said that, they've had 5 different running backs that ran for at least 800 yards this season and 8 touchdowns.
Wow.
Anytime you can get any production from 5 guys, I think that says a lot. That says a lot about their offensive line. That says a lot about their style of play. Coach Boone, this is one of the best jobs that I think we've seen somebody do this year. Here. So,
indeed,
congratulations to him.
Coach of the Year nomination. He needs to be up there for what he's done. All CENLA Coach of the Year. I'm just throwing that out there.
And most of those kids play both ways. It's just what makes it more impressive to me.
The big guy on the offensive line, is he a senior this year?
He's a senior, yes.
Wow, they're going to miss him. But he's just just a huge young man.
6'7", 400 pounds. I think he's 420, I want to say. I got a chance to – I didn't take the picture with him, but I got a chance to to compare my height to his height or something like that. And then he's as big as a house. He's as big as a house. And that's not saying anything bad, but this guy
he's an imposing force on the offensive line.
Figure. And, I think one of North Cattle's coaches said to me after the game, I guess in the 3rd quarter, when they saw him and saw the size of him, they just realized they didn't want any of it. So, yeah.
Indeed, I certainly get that. So that's an exciting game. Congratulations to the Vols team that did their thing all year long, and Coach Andy Boone is going to continue to do big things down there at Avoyelles. We do that. But playing for the state championship, their second consecutive, are going to be the Manny Tigers. That will be in the Superdome, the Caesars Superdome. That is Friday at 3:30, and we all are in agreement. So the picks are locked in. They're hermetically sealed on the internet forever. We'll come back and we'll see how that turned out for everything. But we're going to turn our attention now to basketball that we like to do as this show transitions over. A lot of big things happening down your neck of the woods, Will.
Well, just to be quite honest, every team that's not in the Rapids regional tournament with Lance and Chris are probably in Vernon Parish area, Vernon, Sabina, Beauregard. There's so many games, so many teams playing over there. Anacoca's hosting their event in 3 gyms. It'll be at Anacoca, be at Leesville Junior High and Leesville High School. There's about 10 boys and girls teams in there. And then I'll have all the brackets put up on the BWS Sports Facebook page tonight. But when you were talking about matchups a while ago, you got the defending Class E state champs playing a great Red River 2A school. That game will be on Friday night. Coach Jay LoSavio doing a great job at Simpson again this year. Huntington girls, one of Hicks's only losses last year. That will be a marquee matchup. That game will be on Friday. Huntington, a 4A powerhouse, I think instead of being ranked 1 like they normally are, they're maybe down to 3. So another great team. Huntington boys play as well. Anacoca will also play Huntington girls. Anacoca will play Northwest boys from down around Opelousas, another powerhouse team. And then on Saturday, you got really good matchups. Hicks and Rosepine girls, that's a rematch of the Vernon Parish Tournament Finals. So I think a couple of the Hicks girls were banged up, so you got your second opportunity there. And then at the end of the day, that day, you got Northwest girls playing Anacoca. And then the last game of the tournament at 8:30 on Saturday night, Anacoca plays Evangel boys. So Coach Carlisle's loaded this up. The Indians have 3 tough opponents. Last year in the Ash tournament, they played number 1 West Monroe, number 1 Iowa in 3A. But last year, Anacoca beat the number 1 team in C, 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, and 5A. There's not very many seasons that any team has at that point in time. You beat that many number 1 teams. So really impressive. But now they lost 7 seniors, so you got a brand new starting 5.
Right.
And it's these kids' time to either shine or not. And they got that opportunity.
Impressive seniors too that they lost. That was such a great senior class.
Yeah, and then we jump over to Pitkin. You got some really good matchups over there. You got J.S. Clark and Pitkin boys are playing on Thursday night. Our new head coach at Pitkin is Coach Shad Johnson, formerly of Rapides, doing a good job at Pitkin. Friday night, you got Pitkin Fairview girls. That's always a battle right there between those 2 schools. And then on Saturday, you got J.S. Clark playing Elizabeth on the boys' side, Fairview playing East Beauregard boys. So you got a lot of matchups over at Pitkin. And then
I see one of those games, the early games on there, that Glenmore girls team is playing Fairview in there. That should be a good one. We saw Glenmore play in the game in the Rapides Parish tournament too, and they're a scrappy little bunch.
Yeah, they're scrappy. And Coach Kyle Jinks, the only starter he's got left from last year's team is Riley Cloud. So he's got a bunch of new
who's prone
youngsters.
to throw up 40 anytime.
40, and she had 8 home runs in 2 days of a tournament last year on the softball side. And if you want to see her signing, it's on the BWS Sports Facebook page. She signed to go to SEC School, Arkansas. Why she went, I don't know, but we'll support her nonetheless. But, she went to Arkansas, and that's huge for a little kid from Midi, Louisiana to go to play at SEC softball school. And Glenmore girls and Coach Sweat, they were so pleased. Those girls, as well as Oak Hill girls, who got some coverage from you over here in a couple of the tournaments, they absolutely ate it up and loved it. I forgot to mention Oak Hill girls. They got Simpson on Saturday, and then they had somebody else right here. They got Northwest girls on Friday night.
How do you keep up with all that?
It's just I'm just a lucky guy.
That's right.
A lucky guy, and then I usually have it memorized, but I don't say anything wrong tonight, and that's even more dangerous. But we'll have the Pitkin Anacoca tournaments up, and then a little school that loves getting love, Coach Bart Cootie in Maryville, man. They those kids and East Beauregard kids are so happy every time I see them. Said, hey, we follow the BWS page. We started hearing our names and seeing our stuff on the page, and then they were so excited. Look forward to Sunday nights for Coach Simmons, Coach Cootie to come on here. And So down there, Sam Jones, local attorney, sponsors it every year. It's the Romp in the Swamp. Several Vernon Parish teams are going down there. I don't know if Anacoca was overflowing or too full, but we got Hornbeck going down there to play Lacassine. That's a good girls matchup with Coach Jeremy Oye, the best dressed coach in high school basketball, playing. And then Maryville and Hornbeck boys do battle. That's our buddy Josh Walker. Played at Fairview, played at LSUS.
Right.
Took Maryville to the quarterfinals last year, first time in school history. Hornbeck so far this year undefeated. So a really good matchup there, and that's just the Thursday night part. You come back on Friday, Hornbeck's going to go up against 5A Sulphur. So,
wow.
Undefeated streak could be on the line. Reeves, last year's state runner-up to Hicks, they'll play Hornbeck at 4:15 on Friday. Hornbeck's wanting to get to that top 28. Coach Matthew Key and those girls, they're trying to take that next step, and then, what way to do it to play Reeves. Leesville girls are going down to play Maryville. So another good matchup between those schools. Come back on Saturday, you got the Pickard Red Devils. They're going down to play a pair of games as well. So a lot of inter-parish games going on down at Maryville, and that's just something that you look forward to when those teams get to play. And then we also got the tournament up at Zawali, waiting on Logansport and Manny to complete their games Friday night. Both won, both advanced. So now Coach McLaurin tomorrow morning can get the Zawali bracket together now, because you don't want to put one out and then have to come back and add the football or take the football off. So he waits to Monday morning, and then I get the pleasure of coming up with enough officials to cover all these tournaments. And, we had sign-ups for 2 months. I got 53 people signed up to referee with us. It was a record for our association by far, hands down. And it's been a blessing this year to have that many people signed up, men and women that are willing to go out after they get off work and after some of them, have kids all day or whatever they're doing, to go out and officiate these games for all our student athletes. And, and I just want to thank them. Last week, we serviced over 100 high school games, and all our guys, most of them are listening on Sunday nights. I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Yes, these guys get paid to go do this, but, there's not a long list of people who want to go do it. There's a million in the crowd, but they won't sign up.
Look, and those guys pay to be able to officiate from the stands, too.
Yes.
That's what's crazy.
Yeah, you pay $5 or $6, $7, $8.
That's right.
You're paying the referee, and I just don't want you to do it and pay for it. Come out and let us pay you to do it.
Yeah.
And then, we'll train you. We'll get you ready. We'll work with you between the youth leagues and the summer leagues and get you ready and prepared to go on the court. But these younger kids that I've got to sign up right out of high school or second or third year out of high school, these are the kids that are the future of what we're doing.
That's right.
And the more we can get to sign up that are willing to stay part of it, that's what makes us so successful. And then when we're sitting at press row at the top 28, and me, you, and LaMar sitting there, and these two guys come by, and LaMar looks and goes, I saw him at the tip-off. I saw him at the tip-off.
Right.
And then you're like, hey, I saw this guy the other day at Leesville, or this guy at Toga. Well, it's an honor and a privilege to be selected to call in the state championships. But Coach David Brasher helped me and Lee put together that tip-off classic that we hosted right here in Alexandria at Pineville and at Ash. And that was for all the young officials statewide. We brought them in here. We fed them. We put them in a room. We worked with them and taught them and trained them for that weekend. And then that's the development you want to go forward, keep raising the level of officiating in the state, because with Hurricane Laura, Lake Charles is probably 50 officials short. So if you're in Calcasieu Parish or the surrounding areas, you're probably getting a two-man crew.
Right.
Where we have the luxury. We've not ever had to do that this year. We provided 3 officials for every game. And last week I covered Grace Christian.
Right.
And I covered 3 games in Calcasieu Parish for other associations. And that's something that this association I'm part of, under the former name, now we're the Leesville Basketball Association, but we've never been able to do in years past. And it's great when Coach Justice calls it Grace and says, hey, we have no officials. Mr. Silver's out of officials. Can you help us? I said, yeah, how many you want? He said 3. I said, they're on the way. And that's a luxury because you can't always do that.
That's right.
And you got great teamwork from the top with the boss, Mr. Lee Sanders, and then there's only 13 RCOs in the state.
Right.
And, that's not a lucky number, but there's 13 of us. And you have to work together and try to help your brother or sister, whatever the case may be, cover their games, because there's one in Shreveport. I'm in the middle in Lake Charles. That's it on the whole western side.
Goodness.
Then Michael has predominantly the whole middle of the state.
Right.
And then, you have some north and south. But, me and Michael Silver cover from the Sabine River to the Mississippi River. It's me and Michael Silver. So you have to work as partners and in teamwork to, if he needs help with Lance's tournament, I need help with these 5 tournaments. you work together, and then you do what you can to cover them, and then you provide the best officiating you can for our youth. We never intentionally send out a bad ref. So I love when, like I had a ref the other day, his name's Michael Cutright. Zawali graduated in the early 80s. Best high school player I've ever seen in my life. Went to McNeese, led them in pointers made. Got drafted by the Denver Nuggets when they had the cool jerseys.
Yeah.
And some guy tells me, some bum, that guy don't know nothing about basketball.
You don't know nothing about basketball. That's right.
Well, hello, he got
paid to play it.
Yeah, he was about the second pick in the second round of the draft.
Right.
Went to the Nuggets, went to the Nets, played overseas, played all over the world, and got paid to do this.
Right.
But
doesn't know how to call high school basketball.
and this guy was and nothing against, if you're in the band, great, I'm proud of you, play an instrument. But this guy was in the band talking about, Michael don't know nothing about basketball. And I said, the best high school player, one of the best I've ever seen in my life, but the best truly that I saw growing up. And that's the kind of mindset we got. And then when you go to Facebook, everybody's got a video or a clip of the game. And, we got 100 referees on Facebook evaluating and critiquing them. And,
sure.
And I never acknowledge it, and I could care less what's on there, because if you have any clue about the rules and you see and know what happens, it makes it a whole lot more simpler. But everybody wants to be a referee on the Facebook, but I mean, again,
all they got to do is sign up. They can still call and get signed up. That's exactly right.
And in all sports, I mean, there's a shortage in baseball, basketball, softball, and right now, I mean, and that was where I was leading into, and I forgot. Baseball and softball registration is going on now, so if you want to be, part of that, get signed up now, because I mean, everybody is available, you'll get games.
And you look on that, and it's weird that we get off onto this tangent of it too, but it's certainly a very good one to be onto. The shortage of officials is twofold, really. The guys that were doing it are aging out. I mean, they're just there's no age limit for them, but it just, hey, they've had enough of it running up and down the court or whatever they're doing is there. But the intense amount of scrutiny and the name calling and the viciousness that comes from these fans is just brutal. And it's like, okay, why do I want to do that then? There's no need to.
Right. And I mean, as a reporter, I get a chance to, I hear some of it sometimes and all that stuff. But I know we're not going to agree with the referees and the officials all the time. I mean, there might be some calls here that I may say, I may even tweet, I don't know about this one, but I'm never going to purposely say John Q. Public here made a bad call. I'm never going to ever say that. But because most of these guys out there, they're trying to do their job. They're trying to do it well. I mean, they're trying to get every call right. Are they going to get every call right? Not. But they're trying to get every call right. They're not purposely trying to. I know everybody always says, well, the officials cheated against our team and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, they wanted them to win. They were for them.
Right.
No.
And if I had a nickel for every single time I heard that, I mean, I'd be a rich man right now.
Right.
But they're trying to get every call right. These are people that have families as well. These are people that, I mean, you don't know what's going on.
They work with you. They go to church with you.
They go to church. They're community members.
That's correct.
Basically.
100%.
Community members, and they're trying to do their job, and they're trying to get everything right. And, as long as they continue to, get the practice in there, they're going to get everything right.
And that's why most of my guys won't bring their wife to the game. They don't want to bring their wife, say, hey, you want to come in the game now, darling? I got Anna Coca's playing Florine, a great matchup. Come watch the game. Well, their wives about middle of the first quarter ready to choke or pull somebody's hair, wring somebody's neck.
Officials' wives and coaches' wives.
Yeah, they don't. They either need a headsets or earplugs.
That's correct.
And because everybody can do it better from the bleachers, and then we had a game the other night. A lady come up to me after the game. I'm walking out, and she goes, "I just want you to know the officials cost us a game." And I had the scorebook, and I opened it up, and I counted. I said, "Yes, ma'am, you lost by 2." And Anna Coca girls, there we go. I let that slipped. Anna Coca girls missed 12 free throws, but you lost by 2. So I want you to point out to me right now which one of those 3 referees missed the 12 free throws.
That blocked the free throws for you.
Yeah, or which one made these 3 girls miss the free throws.
Right.
So please let me know. And she didn't have nothing else to say, but, you missed 12 free throws, you lost by 2 points. Make your free throws. And then on the second part of that, whether it's that school or another school, it's the coach's fault your kid missed 12 free throws. Well, what have you done as a parent to work with your child to make those free throws? I mean, you take them to the park, you got a goal in your yard, do you try to get in a church gym, a local gym, or do you grind from Friday night to Monday, and then it's the coach's job for your baby to make free throws on Monday?
I just love where this show goes.
Well, I'm just saying, this finger is crooked. This finger is crooked, and it was broke, and the bone still sticks up there. My dad taped it up with white tape, and I went out there, missed a free throw. He called timeout and about choked me, and I went out there, and I never missed another free throw in that game.
Right.
And, you know, that's just the way the real world is now. But, you know, you enjoy the camaraderie. Referees, a brotherhood. You got former athletes. Over here, we got Mr. Jeremy Cedars. He's an attorney.
Right.
I got a deacon at East Leesville Baptist Church that's one of my referees, and his church members scream and holler at him on Friday night, and then Sunday morning they get out and give him a hug at church, and still don't really grasp the concept of that.
Look, high school sports is such an intense battle from everywhere. Everybody can be the head coach. Everybody can be the official, but nobody will step up and do what it takes because they have so much training because, well, I watch a lot of games. So I know the rules. So I ought to be, or I stayed at that hotel chain last night. So let's.
And besides, too, that's the other thing is, too, I mean, for all those ones that feel like they could do the officials' jobs, like you said, go ahead and try for it. They make good money. They make very good money. I think you get about $50 per game in order to officiate a game. So, you know, why not? I mean, if you feel like that you're better than that, hey, prove it. I mean, you know, it's good money. It's a good come up. It's a good second job there for you guys. And as you said, I mean, there's a lot of those guys here. They have different jobs. I mean, shoot, Brett McCormick, he used to be in this spot where I am right now.
Right.
And would referee that afternoon and then go back and write a story about the game.
Exactly. So, you know.
So LaMar can, if you have an opening for LaMar, then to officiate.
I've tried. I've recruited him. Hey, he got recruited.
Right.
He got recruited, but I'm just saying, if I come in here at Christmas time with 3 gifts and they're all you Chuck and Lamar size, you hold them up to the camera, and they're not them ugly shirts he gave us. They're not Wampus Cat District Champ shirts, Chuck. I would never do that to you. But they're black and white stripes. I mean, you know, hey guys, let's go out there and do it. But it starts with these young kids. I got several kids in our association that were going to Northwestern and going to get jobs. They started refereeing for us, and they told their parents, we don't really need to get jobs. We can referee once or twice a week, make more than we do at fast food or wherever. And then that way it's helping them, allowing them more time to study, more time to do whatever they need to do. And then they come out on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday and referee, or come home and referee 2 days in a tournament. Well, that makes it so much easier on these kids because they're making money. And then a lot of them, like LaMar said, a certified referee gets $50 a game. A registered gets $40, and then plus you get travel factored in. So you go referee like tonight. You go referee over at Hornbeck. You know you get $100 plus $20 travel. That's $120 you made in about 3 hours that night. And I don't care if you're rich or poor or in the middle. That helps anybody out, especially right now. Basketball gets rolling right before Christmas, and then again in the right after Christmas. So at that point of the year, you can make lots of extra money. And then when it comes to us, as soon as basketball's over in March, we start the BWS High School Summer League in May. So you play in that to July, and then season starts in high school or elementary in August. And then we have our youth league in January. So you can referee 6 days a week for me pretty much all the time.
And it's inside. It's not like it's outside. You're calling baseball or any of that. You're inside. Now you're having to get up and down the court. That'd be my problem. I'd have to sit about mid-court and watch it from both sides because I don't know if I could make it up and down. Eventually I probably could. Great show tonight, guys. That's going to wrap things up for us. LaMar, your final thoughts on the night?
Yeah, final thoughts for the night. London Williams, he's a beast.
Does he get over 50 touchdowns?
He needs 4. I think he can get there. But I also want to shout out Jamal and Garner for getting that interception, that game-sealing interception too. One of the things that just said to me after the game was, "Hey, we got DBs. We got a lot of DBs. It's not just Tackett. It's not just Tylen Singleton, but also it's Garner, and it's also a whole lot of other guys, Carhee." And even the other guy, Jay Smart. I mean, they have a lot of DBs. So, go Tigers.
There you go. Will?
I just know I'm getting asked a whole lot of times when we're going to come up with our team of the year. I told them it'd be the completion of the season.
That's
so
correct.
We need to start thinking about that and getting ready to roll with that.
Goodness gracious, that's going to be that's a difficult one because we brought a lot of teams involved in there. So you're sticking with the Tigers. You're sticking with the Tigers. I'm going to stay with the Tigers. You both are on the Warren Easton bandwagon because the wheels fell off the Edna Carwin. So unable to get that out. Before we get out of here, guys, tonight, too, I just want to use a little bit of personal time, too, to extend a welcome to my new daughter-in-law. My oldest son, got married last night. He graduated from LSUA in May. They got married last night. And first daughter, I've got two sons. That's my new daughter-in-law. So Katie Lynn Gann, welcome to the family. We love you very much and looking forward to a great life with you and our family. So with that, that's going to wrap things up for us tonight. Big game coming up next weekend. That is Friday at 3:30, and we'll talk about that. We'll have our fantasy team. We'll have that wrapped up, and that's going to put a wraps on the football season 1 week away. Guys, it's been a great night. Thank you both for everything that you've done through football season. My man Chuck Perkins, thank you for everything that you've done as well. And, of course, I thank Walk-Ons for all that they've done, all of our sponsors that you've watched throughout the night, and, of course, the folks at home that are watching and giving us the reason to talk about we talk about. Again, Coach Jess Curtis, who has joined us all throughout the playoff run, and all of the other coaches that was able to zoom in. We're going to pick up more basketball coaches as we move along. That will be more towards the first of the year. I wish you the best, and thank you for joining us here. That's going to wrap it up. You've been listening to Game on CENLA live from Walk-Ons on 446 Sports.